So in today's video, the first lesson of this course, we're going to go over a very simple topic, right? So this topic, we're going to go over understanding different market types. And I'm only going to show you guys 3 market types that I have the most experience with and the only market that I do recommend you guys to focus on, right? So we're going to go over 3 different type of markets that the markets allows us to trade so that we're able to capitalize with these type of markets. So before we move on with this lesson, if you guys are completely new with trading, have zero experience, I do recommend you guys to grab a pen, grab a paper, and write down as much notes as you guys need to. Go over those notes over and over again. If you guys didn't understand the video, go back into the video and rewatch the video over and over again until it finally clicks in your head and you guys are pretty much ready to move on to the next lesson. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So introduction to the markets, right? So what are the financial markets? So financial markets are places where buyers and sellers are trading assets, right? We have stocks, we have currencies, and we also have commodities, right? There's a lot of more markets. We have the Forex market, we have indices, we have crypto, many more different type of markets, right? Now the key word here is that what are the financial markets? It's places where buyers and sellers are trading assets, right? Who are the buyers and who are the sellers? That is us, right? We are the trader. We are buying and we're selling assets every single day. Now, check this out. Different markets, right, have its own unique character, right? So I want you guys to keep this in mind. This is something we're going to go over later on in this video, but every single market has its own unique character, right? You're trading different type of thing between different type of markets, right? And as well, every single market as well does move very, very different. So the first market that we're going over is the Forex market, which is one of the biggest market and one of the most popular market in the world. The Forex market, another way to say it, is the foreign exchange market, right? So check this out. The Forex market is the world's largest financial market where currencies are traded. So here's a key word. Here is the character of the Forex market. Currencies, right? We're only focusing on trading currencies in the Forex market. Here's an example of what the pairs looks like whenever you guys are trading this, right? So we have the assets, which is Euro versus USD, GBP versus USD, USD, JPY, right? These over here are the 3 most popular Forex market, right? But obviously the market does offer many different type of currencies, right? So just to get you guys an idea, over here we have Euro versus the USD, which is the USD dollar. Over here we have GBP, which is the Great British Pound versus the USD dollar. Right over here we have the USD versus JPY, which is the Japanese yen. Now, when I say it is one of the largest financial markets, right, we're pretty much trading between $6.6 trillion a day, which is obviously insane, right? I believe the stock market does trade between somewhere $200 to $300 million a day. But the Forex market, we're talking about $6.6 trillion that is traded daily, right? Obviously, this is definitely a market that we want to be focused on every single day due to the fact that, again, we have a very large market cap. Whenever there's a large market cap like this, that means that there's a lot of volume in the market. And when there's a lot of volume in the market, it means that we are able to capitalize, have a lot of opportunity to capitalize with this market, right? So the Forex market is one of the markets that I do recommend you guys to focus on. The next market that we have here is the indices market, completely different from the Forex market, right? Now check this out. The indices market involves trading indices, which are groups of stocks that represent a portion of a market. So the indices, we're trading groups of stocks, right? Now, what exactly are we trading in the indices market? I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have seen this in the past. You guys have seen this many times, right? Which is the assets. The assets that we are trading is the S&P 500. We're trading the Dow Jones and we're also trading the Nasdaq, which are the biggest companies in the entire world, right? So the Dow Jones, another way to say it, is going to be the US 30. The Nasdaq, another way to say it, is going to be the NAS 100. Oh, my bad. So NAS 100. So indices market, right, is the only thing that we're trading. The character is that we're trading a group of stocks. The Forex market, the character that we're trading is the currencies, right? So Forex indices, as you guys can see, is completely different. Now, the next market that we have here is the commodities market, right? Now, commodity market, I will say, is completely different between all of this, right? Obviously, all of them are completely different. But I will say the Forex market, the indices market, right, it is mostly virtual money that we're basically trading, right? If we're looking at the commodities, right, yes, we are trading virtually as well, but commodities market is actually something that we can personally own, right? So for example, this over here, let's say this is gold, right? This is something that we can personally own. So whenever we're trading the commodities market, we're trading raw materials. Here's an example of the assets. We're trading gold, we're trading oil, and we're also trading silver. Now, me personally, the only commodities market that I focus on the most is on the gold market. I do not focus on this oil and I do not focus on the silver. Now, the reason why I focus on the gold is because of this exact reason. Market cap. The market cap on gold is very, very high compared to the silver and compared to the oil. Whenever there's a high market cap, what does that mean? That there's a lot of volume. When there's a lot of volume, there's a lot of opportunity for us to capitalize in the markets, right? So I personally only focus on the gold market, do not focus on oil, and do not focus on silver. So the character for the commodities market, we are trading raw materials, right? This is what we're trading in the commodities market. Now, here's a key difference between every single market type. The Forex market, right? Here's a key difference. We have the largest market in the world, and we're only focusing on trading different world's currencies. We're only trading currencies in the Forex market. The indices market, it involves groups of stocks from different companies or sectors, right? Again, we're trading different type of groups of stocks, which is the S&P 500. We're trading, the Nasdaq, and we're also trading the Dow Jones. So indices, we're focusing on a group of stocks. Commodities, what we're trading raw materials like gold, oil, or silver. So you guys can pretty much see the different character between each type of markets, right? The Forex market moves completely different between the indices market. Indices market moves completely different between the commodities or vice versa, right? Now, obviously, it is not ideal to trade exactly just because you see the Euro USD dollar going up doesn't necessarily mean that the S&P 500 is going to go up as well. The commodities market, just because you see gold going up doesn't mean that the S&P 500 is going up, right? All of them move completely different. None of them does not align together, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Now, these three markets over here is the only market that I do recommend you guys to focus on. The Forex market, the indices market, and the commodities market, right? The Forex market is the first exact market that I started trading with. So I started trading back in 5 years ago. The Forex market was the only market that I focus on. Over time, throughout my year, obviously, most experience that I've gotten, right? I was now ready to move into the indices market, right? Between the indices and the Forex market, the completely difference is that, again, obviously we are trading currencies, right? But the volatility between the indices and the Forex market is completely different, right? The Forex market, it moves by different pips. The indices market moves by specific points, right? By indices, it has a lot of volatility during a specific session. The Forex market is pretty much during the session that you guys are trading, right? Which we're gonna go over that later on in the next part of the videos, whenever we're talking about different type of session between different type of markets, right? But again, commodities and indices, it has the most volatilities, right? If you guys want to trade high volume markets, you guys want to focus on indices and commodities. This is also a high market value over here, which is the Forex market, but it's not the same exact volatility compared to this one, which later on in this course, you guys will understand why I say that. So that's pretty much it, guys, for this first lesson. It was very simple. We just went over 3 different type of markets and the only market that I do recommend you guys to trade. I'll see you guys in the next one.